Do you think Skies and Awake need to break up?
10!
I've got Subliners.
I knew it.
We saw FaZe lose some composure. Dude, Sam, you're a hater.
You are bodying Ravens, bro.
Man, we keep seeing these same problems. I mean, New York has to win this. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. SalvationsElite to my right is Bash_Bo3 Sam, and to our farthest right for you is none other than the Rex ShadyNero. And come on, guys, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Major 1 is in the books. And let me tell you, it got crazy, to say the least. And so today, we're doing power rankings based off the results and everything of the Major. And guys, guess what? We have Call of Duty this weekend as well. Right into stage 2 because they had the breaks are all mixed up now. We have the breaks before the Major. So there's Call of Duty this weekend. So we're doing full predictions for all the matches this weekend as well. So we have a lot to get into, not to mention we're talking some potential roster changes in the works as well. So it's gonna be spicy. Before we get into that, guys, I gotta ask, boys, what's going on?
Well, Josh, I'm feeling like a little paprika who's just been raised and farmed by my parents, Salt and Pepper, and they started rapping at me, and I was like, "What are you rapping about?" And they were like, "Salt and pepper, shake, shake, shake. Paprika, shake, shake, shake." And I was like, "You're right. That's some fire beats. I bet we could make some tasty stuff."
Yeah.
So that's how I'm feeling.
I didn't know if you were going with like the Blues Clues or the actual like Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
Well, I was inspired by Blues Clues. So I'll say that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we're the salt and pepper to your paprika. Sam, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm trying out a new camera angle here. Let me know if it
is a little bit different.
Makes it worse than it already was. You know, I'm trying to, yeah,
it is tough out there.
But
I mean, I think you're looking good as always.
Thanks.
Dapper as always.
Thank you.
But man, like I said, just a crazy weekend. So it's going to be a wild pod. I would imagine it's going to be somewhat of a long episode too, considering we have so much to go through. It's going to be jam-packed. So with that said though, you can drop those comments on YouTube. You can drop those reviews on Apple Podcasts. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, listen on Spotify, watch on YouTube. That's where you get to see these beautiful faces. And like I said, those comments are always appreciated and the reviews are especially appreciated. And so today, we might just have a review. What do we got?
We do. 5-star review.
That was disgusting.
From J. Willie the Thrilly.
Oh, okay. Willie.
The best COD podcast in existence. That is a heavy
factual statement.
Heavy burden to carry. I love listening to the Bo3. Love the boys and keep up the great content. Also, this is the only COD podcast I can listen to with my kids in the car because you don't consistently drop F-bombs. Hey,
we try our best around here.
I mean, Josh, we had to whip him into shape. But,
yeah. It gets crazy for me sometimes,
Bash has stuttered his way into my heart. That is a charm that I bring to this podcast. Okay.
Wow. Amen.
Josh is a stud. And Rex is just Rex.
Oh, all right. I'll take it.
Good body, Rex.
I'm me, baby.
I want to I read that in like a, Rex is Rex. Like it's a mystical
this
thing.
is like no one else can be him. I think it's just that there's no words to describe what Rex ShadyNero is. It kind of has to just be it, That's kind of just where we end up. But
very
wow,
cool.
Willie. I mean,
Very
big
cool.
Willie. Thank you, my guy.
Thank you.
Obviously the children,
as a man with 3
small
children
people yourself.
Gotta keep the F-bombs out of here, you know what I'm saying?
Amen. Oh, you got the G Fuel can today.
We need more love bombs. Yes, I am drinking
a
can of G Fuel.
Of something.
Sour Chug Rub.
No free shout outs.
No free shout outs.
Of course. But okay, well, we got a lot to get to today. And actually, speaking of free shout outs or no free shout outs, if you guys don't remember, last week we had our first debut segment with our new partner in this thing called esports, PrizePicks.
Actually legit. Super cool.
It's been a blast. So this was our first weekend going through given PrizePicks a real go, and like I think all of us came away really, really enjoying it. And I know people in the stream when I was doing the watch parties this weekend were having a blast with the overs 100%. And unders on the players. And so if you guys don't know what PrizePicks is, it's a daily fantasy app where you can choose over and unders, basically little props for players, and you can pick your plays, like whether like let's say it's like Scump, 60 over or under 60 kills for Scump, and you pair him with another player. And so you can pick like, over and under on that, and then over and under on like a BZ with 61.5 kills. And you can kind of have some fun with it. And it actually made, at least I would like to hear what you guys had to say and maybe some experiences with it this weekend. But first of all, if you use code Bo3 pod, they will double your initial deposit. So
up to $100.
Up to $100. If you put in $50, you'll have another $50 in your account, up to $100. So it's pretty lit. So, definitely worth giving it a go, but I want to hear what you guys' thoughts are, your first picks, how it went, and then we can shout out some of the people who had some fire picks using hashtag Bo3picks on Twitter, because we'll shout out some of you guys this week and in the future as well.
Yeah, I got bodied, and I'm not gonna lie. So I went in feeling very confident. I'm like,
life is too long, right, Sam?
Yeah, life is too long. Play the under. Play the under. Always play the under. And so Shotzi and Abizi, I went for the head honchos right away. I'm like, no way, Shotzi and Abizi are getting over their lines, and sure enough, wow.
Yeah, this was a learning week, though. It
was a learning week. So yeah, hey, you know what? Next time, now I know. Always play the over, no matter what.
Yeah, it was definitely like a really I guess I don't know how to say it besides like mixy week.
Yeah,
like
my wins were on. My wins were on unders. I had one overpick that worked out for me. All the other wins came from unders.
Was that on Friday?
I did really well on Friday. I didn't do anything very great.
Oh, okay.
Saturday, I won, and then Sunday I also won.
Yeah, because day one, I think like all the overs hit except for Afro. Like 7 of the 8 overs hit, and so everyone was like, pick the over, and then it kind of evened out as the weekend went along. It is interesting. I think the biggest takeaway was kind of along the lines of like, when you pick players who are in the same matchup, you're really, it's interesting because like the longer a match goes, like let's say it was like the ASIM over under on the first day with LAG. It was kind of like these matches are going down to the wire, every single one of them. It was like 250, 240, and then like round 11, and then game 5 control, and like it just kept going down the wire. And like, my goodness, everyone's hitting the over in this one because every single map's going late. So it's like there is this weird balance of like playing. At least now from here on out, if I'm picking players in the same matchup, I'm going to go both either over or both either under.
That's how I succeeded on I put 2 unders on Saturday, and one of them was Capsule, one of them was Skies, and then I unfortunately for Capsule, the under was the right call for him.
yeah. That makes sense. So I think that's kind of my strategy from here on out, at least like the base strategy. And is there anything else you're kind of like looking at when it comes to like picks or any picks you're interested in?
I personally think flex play is the smartest way to go about it. Personally,
interesting.
So you either have the power play where it's like you have to get all of your picks correct, so you choose up to like 2 or
3 or 6 up to
picks.
5. Yeah, up to 5.
But my first day, I did a power play on 2 people, and both of them have to be right for me to win. But you win more, but it just rarely happened. But I did flex plays with 3 pick entries on Saturday and Sunday. So I only had to get 2 right to win something. And I got 2 right on both days.
Oh, let's go. Yes, it is interesting.
I really love the simplicity of this website.
The user experience is phenomenal.
It is so user friendly compared to like some other things I've seen. Like this website is so clean, so easy. You only are worried about the first 3 maps, and you're only concerned about, are they going to be over this amount of kills, or are they going to be under this amount of kills? And you bet however much you want. You can bet, I think, $1. You can bet $5. You can bet as much as you want, which is really, really nice.
Man,
for sure. I think it's interesting.
It's so
obviously
simple. It's so nice.
Sometimes it depends on the day. Like, I think if you, like on certain days, it depends on if you get the map picks early enough, but you can kind of get some of your bets in near when you already have the maps. And if you can do that, that's really nice. Cause like obviously bocage is the problem. So like in a real world, you want to really identify vetoes and where vetoes will look like are very possible.
Yeah, that's a
bocage at this point is literally
deep dive, super hard, figure out what maps are people potentially going to be playing. Yeah,
it's killer. Bocage and Berlin, the difference there for overs and unders is pretty massive, especially for hard point. So we'll see. But yeah, I do want to shout out like a few picks from this week, obviously, because some of y'all were going off, and one was from Philip CDL, who had some really nice picks this weekend, which he was tweeting at me, and he was like, "This is a fat dub right there."
Dubs all around.
And like he had like Asum and Nero on the overs and absolutely dominated in a power play. So like big shouts to Philip CDL.
He got a power play win.
Oh yeah,
I think it's like a 5-timer. Like I think
that one was just a 2. It was just a 2-pick entry. So he had a 3x, I think, on his
3 times.
Yeah, so he was frying. And then also just shout out John Shirk. He also had some nice picks as well. So I wanted to shout out those two. So again, you can tweet us your picks, #Bo3 picks, and just tag us in it. And we'll definitely be excited to see your picks. And we might. And also, so if you use the #Bo3 picks, you're automatically counts as an entry into a giveaway.
Yes.
For the end of the stage for some CDL merch. So definitely tweet us your picks for this weekend, and that'll get you entered in for the giveaway. But
yes.
We don't have the picks yet for this weekend, unfortunately, because they're coming out a little bit later this week. So we'll talk about our picks, this weekend on Twitter, and then as also, in watch parties myself when I'm streaming and everything. I'll be talking about the picks for sure and everything else. So with that said, guys, I think
don't forget to use promo code BO3POD when you sign up. It will double the amount you put in.
Yes,
up to $100.
Absolutely, of course. And guys, without further ado, we got a lot to get into today. So let's get into the news of the week. Let's get it.
The Call of Duty News of the Week.
News here. Come get your Call of Duty news. News this week. League news. CDL is drug testing pros now.
Uh-oh.
Supposedly.
So, according to Zinx, which is an amateur player, they now drug test pro players. Do we think that... I don't know if this is actually true or not. This is seen on Reddit.
One Reddit comment said that Zuma mentioned it on stream, but he couldn't talk about it. But
what drugs are they testing for?
Right. I mean, the logic of it makes sense. Like the idea that, who comes out and says he was using Addy, and then maybe you want to start drug testing.
Probably want to start drug testing.
Yeah, so that would probably be the argument there. So I wouldn't be surprised, but keep that on the lookout moving forward here.
I mean, yeah. Adderall is a complicated topic. Unless they just outright ban it, whether you have a prescription or not, that's where it really comes to play.
Yeah.
Because I think people probably are getting prescriptions.
Right. Yeah, that would be the problem. So
yeah, I'd be interested to see if I would like them to come out and just state it one way or the other. I don't know why it has to be so hush hush or don't want to it should just be open about it. What are you doing as as a league to try to mitigate potential drug abuse and be open to talking about the kind of complicated points too. I don't know. I just feel like there's just a lot of I wish there wasn't so much rumors about it.
I know, right?
It's just annoying, but
no, I feel that
is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Overall, I think a good thing.
Yep. Next up, this was the most viewed event that was not a champs event in CDL history.
Yeah, man, it was exciting.
That is crazy.
157K. That's pretty fire. I mean, and the previous record was 135 or 136K at Major 3 last year, which is that Ultra OpTic round 11 on Raid. And so, I mean, that's a pretty significant increase from the previous record. And even though it was it was the first event of the year. Yeah, it was the OpTic event. Obviously, having OpTic win helps. And so maybe you would have hit that number last year with OpTic winning an event. But I think the storylines this year with the new roster leading into a tournament like that with getting FaZe in the grand finals, OpTic v FaZe, it all made sense for it to break a lot of records.
It's all positive signs that every year there's growth.
Oh yeah,
it's all positive signs.
Like I feel like that's what should be the takeaway is like it's not going to it's not declining, especially
COD's
with
not dead.
Like especially with like LAN and that kind of stuff. It's more like it's like comforting to like know it's not going
to see some of that
it's not
growth.
going anywhere. So
for sure,
that's huge. I hope we can get a event in London or just Europe in general.
100%.
Obviously, I think this year probably won't happen, but I would love to see those views too as well. So
the other thing was that the average viewership was actually higher this time than any other viewership ever, which was like 69,900. So nice, by the way. It was like so that's a pretty solid. It's like not average viewership.
Yeah, it's not just like OpTic was playing. It was just averaged out over all the teams playing. That 69,000. Because I think
like FaZe v London had like over 90,000 watching FaZe v London. So that's pretty good for like a FaZe London match.
Not bad.
That's quality. Things up to see.
All right, next up, Cam Allen has joined the Ravens as an analyst.
Love this. He's done a lot of work in the challenger scene the past like 3-4 years. Even maybe longer than that. For a long time now. He's been an analyst for a lot of amateur teams and doing a lot of work there. And so
he's never worked for a pro team yet, right? This is his first pro.
I don't think so.
So an
off
analyst
the top of my head
has breaken out of the amateur scene.
Yep. So more teams picking up analysts for sure. So like, I think this is logical.
It'd be a really good view. Having an interview with an analyst would be kind of cool. How you even like, I bet a lot of people will be interested. Like, how do you even become a pro Call of Duty analyst?
For sure.
How do you even get this? Like, you go to challenger scene, you try, like, who do you even start analyzing? You know?
Let us know in the comments if you want to see some analysts.
Zaptius retires, and he's now headed to Valorant.
Yeah, his bio said like former Call of Duty pro.
Now switching to Valorant.
Yeah. Yep. So he didn't have like any like official post about it, at least as of this point. But that is pretty tough.
That is crazy. Yeah. Like he was literally on a pro team last year.
Yeah,
then he's playing a whole different game. It's like, oh crap.
I guess if you just don't have the passion for it and you're enjoying Val, I'd give it a go. Obviously he has natural gaming talent.
Yeah.
Also just goes to show how rough it can be too, for those players that are kind of like the fringe players,
Oh, it's so tough.
Man.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Challengers Elite starts tomorrow.
Or today, if you're listening today.
So March 8th.
There you go.
My birthday.
Baby.
Hey-o.
Tweet ShadyNero. Let's go. Get it trending on Twitter.
And there's going to be an open event for the Rokkr major, which is the next major coming up.
Of challengers news. So with the big elite starting tomorrow, obviously, and then with the combo of the major, I think it's pretty interesting. Like finally some good news for the challenger teams. A LAN challengers event.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of people saying like, "Yo, people are gonna get exposed on LAN" and all these tweets. So we'll see what happens. But I'll definitely have my eyes on that one, seeing
Are they gonna have it casted? Do you think, or do you think it's just gonna be?
I don't know. I hope so.
Maybe a Charlie or Delta stream happening or something.
You may as well have one. At the least, you may as well bring in someone to stream it. Like, even if it's not an official CoD League stream, Shift comes in, brings the setup in, suddenly he's streaming it on his channel. Like, why not?
We'll have to ask Shift, but I know he's done a lot of work for Rokkr, so I think it'd be a great idea. Who wouldn't love that?
Let's hope so.
Definitely
that'd be ideal.
Try and give it some attention. And then are we still having, and I think we still are, but we're still having the Pro VM.
Yep, that's after Major 2. So in that little Rokkr major. Yeah.
Which I am pretty excited for.
Oh, it's so
that actually that becomes
classic.
Really important because of pro point seeding actually for that type of event here. So that's gonna be massive when it comes to pro points leading into the qualifications for the Pro VM LAN.
I'm so excited.
That'll actually be pretty interesting.
What pro teams are going to get upset?
I know. It's going to be a blast. I really hope we see some action.
Oh, how do we not?
So
here's some news, Subliners news. Ake said that he heard Crim and Clay got into a significant argument before their Thursday match. So basically before their match.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much really to say here
argument.
besides nothing new, I guess. But at the same time, it depends how heated the argument was and like what that actually was like. I mean, like, you know, was it COD related? Was it personal?
Aches too.
Yeah, so you never really know. But I think he said that in talking with like Enable or something. So
yeah, man, I don't know. I hope this New York squad, and like we'll talk about it more obviously later. But like I hope they give it time. I know they've already have changed the roster once, and it's like, oh, man, I don't know. But again, it is. But you know, it's hard having those two guys on the same team. Obviously, it's going to be hard either way. But just, you know, two guys who are very, you know, veteran and know
they
how
have
to do it.
their ways.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I think there's gonna be a lot of conversation about New York here, but I mean, because like,
do you think they need that fifth man to keep things balanced out? Because right now it's like two veterans who have strong opinions, and you have the two, I guess like.
Oh, you mean like referencing back to Empire?
Yeah, where it's like obviously it worked on Empire, but they also had three people that they both were coaching.
And the young
so like
gunnies.
It balanced out with three young people, two old people. Now it's half the team is two veterans. I've always wondered if that might end up being
the power dynamics are off.
Yeah, because like, you know, there's only one other young person. You know,
yeah,
I don't know.
That's,
more numbers works out better.
It's definitely fair. I mean, like the other, I guess we can kind of let's just piece all these together. So the other pieces of New York news is that Clay was talking about how he's going to be going private on Twitter, you know, after every single major from here on out.
He's just talking about he's just not going to tweet, right? Or
I think he just means
Twitter.
he's turning either he's deleting Twitter and or he's just muting everything on Twitter, or he's actually like making his account private for a little bit, like where no one can reply to him unless he follows them. I don't know. Yeah. But then, I mean, the other really actual, I would say almost significant news is that Crim he said on after they lost that he's having an ear operation this week. He said going under for surgery on my ear next week. The fact that I'm actually excited for the operation should say a lot. And it was kind of a whole tweet about GG's LET down bad roadblock after roadblock for almost 2 years straight. Now my mental's being tested to limits, especially out of the game, and I'm not okay. So that's a pretty down bad tweet from Crim, and he's having a little surgery this week, or at least the operation this week. So that's something to keep your eye on when it comes to maybe a roster change this week, whether it's temporary or not. I don't know.
I mean, I think a change is bound to happen with that team, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, the old Snooper Duper, he's joining FaZe.
Snoop Diggity Dogg joining FaZe.
Makes sense.
Yeah. This isn't really COD news, technically just gaming news, but it was pretty epic.
Too bad Snoop Dogg's not with OpTic. Then you get the Pine Park tie-in.
I know. It'd make a lot of sense.
Very true.
I bet you Hex is just so jealous of FaZe, because that would be such a great person to have with OpTic, especially with the Pine Park thing. Like,
well, I mean, Snoop Dogg is as big as it gets. I mean,
especially when it comes to like
so
weed,
dope. No pun intended.
Promoting weed. I mean, Snoop Dogg is probably the best person to do that. So.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
Does he even like game? Like I don't know.
I think he streams sometimes.
Definitely streams and stuff.
Does he? Okay.
I mean, I don't know if he's like very good. I think he kind of goes on there.
Yeah.
He messes around.
It's more comedy. So. Yeah, it's fun.
Obviously, I know like FaZe, you know.
Because wasn't there that clip of him like leaving his stream on accident for like a few hours or something?
And there's been a few clips of him. Like he's streamed more than just like once. I don't know how often.
I remember there was
streams.
That really iconic, like when they were revealing Battlefield, like was that Battlefield 5? And it was like him and Stone Mountain.
Didn't he? Yeah, he had his own team.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That.
Wow, Battlefield 5, like a long time ago.
That was like a long time ago. I remember like there was like a ton of clips of him.
It was definitely like a while ago, because I remember like they had like a lot of influencers, like or just, like a lot of people there.
Yeah,
and that's
I remember
funny.
seeing him playing like this multiplayer game. It kind of looked like Rust, but it wasn't Rust. But like you kind of control your character like that, and like people can just like voice chat, just like area, and people started they weren't acting like he was Snoop, but they were just like how do I put it? Like they're just kind of dweebing out, like just making weird noises.
They're straight up trolling.
And they're just trolling him. They're trolling Snoop Dogg, and Snoop Dogg is just like.
Did they not believe that he was actually Snoop Dogg?
Well, I don't think he said he was Snoop. You know, you just go into a game.
I see. Really, was it like a VR chat?
I don't think it was VR chat, but it was something similar to that.
Okay,
maybe it was like
sense.
Metaverse or something.
Oh, okay. That makes
hilarious.
Sense. That is comedy.
But it was funny because
high quality.
what do we have here? Oh, so a little bit of an interesting tidbit.
A few tidbits before we start our little segment here.
So now that Dashy used to be the player with the longest drought of winning, now Kenny and Octane now have the longest drought since their last win.
Of all pros who have not been
tournament
benched.
Wins.
Yeah. So that's of all pros who have not been benched and or seen the challenger scene. So if you count pros who were benched who are currently in the league now, that'd be like Zero, Tej, John, and then Slasher, who also was benched last year.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't count those, then it's Kenny and Octane since that LA Thieves win.
And it's been about
100T win.
3 years or so.
Okay. Yeah, 1,022 days. So pushing the 3-year mark over the summer will hit it. That's insane, man.
Yeah.
It really is. So you're hoping that Kenny and Octane can find some dubs here, which feels possible.
It's weird. It's weird. Black Ops 4 doesn't seem that long ago, but
no,
it was that long ago.
It was that long ago.
Wow. Well, it's just, the games come out every year. So it's just
3 years, man.
It's weird.
We're such boomers now.
I know.
Unreal. So it's actually crazy though.
Scump, the king.
Scump. This is insane.
Is now a 30-time champion and the first player to win a tournament in 10 different CODs.
There's been 10 CODs. That's so
10.
weird.
Wow.
What?
I mean, where's Crim's number at?
Crim's got to be at least 8. But
at least
he's either 8 or 9.
He's not 10 or not.
He was the first player to win 10. Scump was the first, so I would imagine Crim's at either 8 or 9.
Oh yeah.
Jeez,
that's crazy. Yeah, they got to be right there.
A few other Scump facts here.
Also, that was the first event Scump won that Simp also had been there.
Right, because previously it was only Modern Warfare wins where FaZe wasn't attending the event because there's only 8 of the 12 teams.
Yep.
So,
and then first time Scump won an event without a member of the original OpTic Advanced Warfare team since EGL Blackpool, which was August 5th, 2012, with Rambo, Merc, and Big T.
That's insane.
Yeah. Without an OG, Dynasty and before. First time he's ever won without them.
Dang.
Yeah. But I mean, that's actually mind blowing.
That's
literally almost a decade.
Jeez.
This just in from CDL Intel. Just now.
A little breaking news on the pod.
Breaking news. Competitive settings update. So, get your pens and pads out, people.
This is like the official rule set.
Now part of the official rule set. All marksman rifles have been restricted. The BAR, Cooper Carbine, other assault rifles, a KGM-40 assault have been restricted. PPS-H and Wellgun SMGs have been restricted. Anti-tank sniper rifle, restricted. Shirashi optics, restricted. Heron lightweight triggers, restricted.
Nice.
Armory, intuition, mechanic perks, restricted. Gammon and sticky bomb have been restricted. The gammon and sticky bomb. Then the smoke grenade, restricted.
Yeah, so that's good. Finally, at least they're updating the official rule set, which will be reflected in game 2 as well. So,
yes.
You're not. I know at some lower levels of rank play, there were some problems.
Not the side of the fence I wanted to land on with smoke grenades, but at least there's some consistency.
It's not just a gentleman's agreement anymore,
Yeah, at least it's an official rule now.
Right. To be fair, Vanguard did mention that they're looking into fixes for making the smokes better. So maybe that could be changed one day, but we'll see what happens.
One day we're going to have a rule set that never changes.
Yeah.
Amen. That is just very solid every year. You just change the names of, I don't know. That's a weird one, but
yeah. So that's kind of the big changes for the rule set. But with that said, I think we can kind of get now into the power rankings. We'll do the power rankings first. Use that to kind of use it as our breakdown heading into the actual predictions. Maybe go a little bit faster with the predictions this time around, see what happens. But without further ado, let's talk about these power rankings. See who's the best, baby. Let's get it. Oh, baby. Okay, so power rankings are going to be interesting. Obviously, some of them are somewhat obvious because we just saw a lot of Call of Duty this weekend. So some of them will be, I would say, pretty obvious. I'd imagine our opinions will be at least somewhat similar. With going through a bracket and all, but I think there are some pretty interesting debates. And since our power rankings aren't just tiers, they're actually 1 through 12. It should still be pretty interesting debating on some of these teams moving towards this weekend as well. So we got our normal looking bracket here, nothing, or our normal looking power rankings here. Nothing too crazy when it comes to how we organize these things like this, but we just got the 1 through 12 and we're rocking and rolling.
Good old Google Docs, baby. Let's go.
The Google Docs. Oh, absolutely. They're always coming in clutch. And so it will be interesting to see. So off the start here, I guess we can kind of go from the bottom up like we normally do with number 12 and work our way up. So who do you guys have at number 12?
I've got Subliners.
I knew it. I knew someone was going to put them there.
Oh,
bro, how do you not have them there? They haven't won a single hard point.
Okay, they haven't won a single hard point, but they have won a series.
Yeah. So have Legion, and then you want to compare
Legion just won. Anyways, I have Legion at 12.
So defend this. What's the argument for Legion ahead of or behind Subliners?
I think Subliners. I think Legion have just failed pretty much at every turn. They eked it out against the Surge, and I don't have the Surge.
Right, you're gonna have the Surge pretty low.
I feel like it was kind of like, how do I call it? Like a sort of a one-hit wonder type of win. I think Legion are better than what people were saying previously.
Yeah, they were the Carly Rae Jepsen of.
But New York was, beat
teams.
Boston Breach.
Okay.
And they beat them twice, and they beat Rokkr.
Yeah, you're just talking like in.
Are you talking about the Chicago Classic or what?
I'm talking about the whole thing, this whole season. I'm not saying Subliners are like the top of the food chain. I have them near the bottom, but I don't think I'm not ready to put them at that 11. Bottom spot because I see the potential there. Like their hard point is so incredibly bad that there's only one way that it can go is up, and they still could have eked out a win against LA Thieves. It was 230 to 250 on Gavutu. And the rest of it was pretty brutal. But that hard point showed me they can play hard point against big dogs, the Thieves. The essence is still there that they are not going to be a number 12 team.
The thing is that they've just.
I think if they play Legion, they can beat Legion.
They've just both won one series so far. Where New York beat Boston,
my
Paris beat Surge. But the thing is, like I think we were kind of ahead with this, Sam, is that this is a new Paris with Gravity on the team.
We've
seen them play once, twice.
I know, but like it shows that they have the upward. That like they have a potential upward. New York, what's the evidence? It's the same team. They switched once and it's
all mini-map
I seen
play
0 and
from
10
them.
in hard points.
I know the hard points are bad,
wins.
but the thing is, it's not a bad individual performance from anybody. It's just a bad symmetry that they have going on. I think Subliners are it just seems like they have people playing different. They're just not on the same page.
But
they're reading different
you have
books.
to rank them now. Like you have to rank them where they're at. You know what I mean? Like I think you're like hopeful for them, which is fine, but they're not a good team.
Obviously, do we think the Legion would have beat, LA Thieves? No. So I get what you're saying from that regard, Rex, that like if we're, if you're just going up, like obviously Legion, they got a struggling Surge, and they found a 3-2 win, winning one S&D a hard point, or winning 2 S&Ds and a hard point.
Right.
So I get the idea there.
Subliners' biggest weakness is hard point. Like they're going to lose every hard point. But we saw how much better they got in this short amount of time. They were 230, 250 with Thieves. That told me a lot because before it was like they're going to get a 100-point club, and then it got better the next time. Then it got better. Now it's like we're like almost winning these games now.
Except like on Gavutu, like Hydra went 40 and 27 with 27 untraded kills for the L. Like, it's just not a good sign when you have a guy cooking like that and you're still losing. Like, you can't expect that from Hydra every time you're playing Gavutu.
I don't. It
just feels like royalty
Hydra
and Clayster feel invisible.
I think Hydra does what.
Well, no, Hydra's a top 10-ish player in the league, no doubt about it.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so you can either look at kills and killing, or you can look at how they're playing the minimap. And I honestly think looking how they play the minimap is more important because. Hydra at least is winning situations, and I think he also has pretty decent positioning. I don't think he he is able to respond to his teammates, and he's not just off in no man's land like we see.
I mean, he plays
loyalty
well
at times, and like we saw with Neptune. I also have my issues with how Crim6 plays a little bit.
It seems like they lose some of. Sometimes some things have fallen through slipped through the cracks. Like there's on Gavutu Control, there was a moment where like Draws just ran like straight through and got into their spawn and was just finessing him, and they couldn't find him. They weren't identifying him. They lost track of him, and like there's just a few moments of miscommunication from the team or issues there that seem to be causing him problems. But like with Sam there, I just agree that we saw a new look Paris, and they beat the Surge. They looked very competitive against the Breach, and it's in Gravity's debut on 7 days practice. So like at this point right now, I think if you go into this weekend,
it's
hard.
Honeymoon.
Well,
I mean,
it depends.
Gravity's first event. He wants to win it all. Like
I don't think Paris is some top 6
They eke out a
team.
win against Surge, and then they lose 3-1.
We're debating between 12th and 11th.
See, that's my thing is like, I think when we're talking about this low down the ranking
pole
system, and then within 1 or 2 positions, you got to look at. I just want to
scream Donnie. All right, that's all I want to scream. I just want to keep screaming Donnie, every time.
Wow, he is looking phenomenal. I
am happy to see Legion is going somewhere, doing something.
Oh man, that was such a fun series.
I was nervous for Temp, for the past couple of years, and he's
it looks like Temp
now.
could be on any of the teams in the league right now and play really well.
Absolutely,
he looks good. Looks solid.
With that said, I am also going to go Subliners at 12, but that means I'm still. The question is, where do you put Seattle? Because like Paris just beat Seattle, so it's like, are you willing to body Seattle at 11?
Nope.
Because I wouldn't either. So like the question is, in a rematch, does Paris beat Seattle again? Where are we at with that team? And then like, how do they stack up against some of the other teams who were in loser bracket, like a Florida or something like that?
Seattle is like a mystery to me.
They took their wave too early. Now they have to climb out of it again.
I did have Legion 11th. I think it's more, and again, that kind of gets into more of like a feel, which I know it's like, it is hard to, especially like, we're just talking about Subliners, and it's like, you don't want to go off feel and that kind of thing, but it's hard not to base completely off the major, right? Because that is the most recent Call of Duty we've seen.
Yeah. Well, see,
and
here's a counter argument. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
No.
But like, to be fair, I think for the top teams, it makes so much sense to base it straight off the major because, I mean, we doubled the amount of series we've seen from FaZe and OpTic and from like Toronto and London. Like we saw so much Call of Duty from them this weekend that literally we doubled the amount of sample size that we have from them. But for like a Florida or a New York, we got like one series or whatever, from teams who lost, or like Seattle, we got 2, so it's like, you can't fully base your whole opinion off of one series against one team or maybe even 2 teams. So I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So that's why I do have Surge higher up my list. And why I do have Legion still at 11th is because they have won one series, like such as the Subliners and
Subliners of
yeah. No, again, like
3.
We're talking about 11 and 12, right? Like I'm curious how Gravity's going to fit in. Like seeing him play more with the squad, and then of course Temp doing his thing.
Yeah. I mean, do we think?
Sorry, I'm not.
No, Rex, fire away. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, just to make the case for Subliners again, they had to play against the LA Thieves.
No, that's the argument.
And Legion had to beat the Surge, and they barely eked it out. It's like we're comparing apples and oranges. Like they're 2 different teams.
Agreed. I mean, it's very close between both of these teams.
A really close hard point against, and at least in my list, spoiler it, is a top 3 team.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but Paris at least beat Seattle, who we've seen be very competitive with some of the best teams in the league. I know they haven't played great CoD recently, and they're on a huge losing streak now.
Yes.
So that's the argument. And like, I think your argument is that Seattle's a bottom 2 team, bottom 3 team.
I don't think Seattle's a bottom 3 team. I still actually have them decently high. but we'll talk about that when we get to it. But
because
not as high as Thieves.
I am very scared for Seattle at this point, though. I mean, I just feel like they're a pretty important conversation to have right now. So I think we can kind of just have this now. We can just kind of go into it. But like, there's just not very many positive signs for Seattle at this point. I'm trying to get to my notes here, but
they took their spot in the spotlight. They took it too early. Everyone started gunning for them.
Well, sure. Like so they lost 3-0 to OpTic. They lost 3-2 to Legion. And now they've got that. They've lost 5 in a row now? Yeah, no, 4 in a row now.
Well, Florida, London, OpTic, Paris. So 4.
Yeah, 4 in a row because they started off 2-0, or no, they started off 3-0 with wins against the Subliners, the Ultra in round 11, game 5, and then the Rokkr round 11, game 5. So you could literally do the exact opposite for OpTic, but you could do the saying that they could be they're 2 S&D rounds away from being winless.
Yeah.
So like, there's an argument here.
Yeah.
And they've lost 4 in a row. They got swept by the Mutineers 3-0, 3-1 by London, 3-0 by OpTic, and then lost to Paris 3-2.
They would have beat Subliners, so like they wouldn't be winless. But
wait, what do you mean?
Week 1, Surge beat Subliners 3-0.
Oh, right. From being 1-5 in the CDL. My bad.
But week 1 was also like their strongest week. But either way,
1-6. Yeah, so they're okay. 2 S&D. They're 2 round 11 S&Ds from being 1-6.
Yeah.
But I guess from the New York perspective as well, like the issue is that we found out that that Royalty. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Royalty was playing from Dallas for the last 2 matches. So like, not only like we were kind of giving the benefit of the doubt in Hardpoint though, because it was like, Gravity's playing online.
I did. I mean, I didn't know that, but it's just, I think Royalty. The positioning of the players on New York and how like was just wrong. No matter the ping, it was just like, this just isn't the right places to be, in my opinion.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but look at the pure difference. Ultra didn't win a Hardpoint at this event, finished top 4. Subliners haven't won an event. They don't have a win. Or they only have 1 win, I'm sorry, against Breach. And that was a Breach where they lost both Hardpoints. That's why I think it's a tough conversation to have. So I guess the next question is, do we think Seattle's going to bounce back? Because I'll be honest, I'm very tempted to put Seattle here at number 11.
Really?
Because again,
pretty high.
Like I said, what have we seen from Seattle since the round 11 win against Rokkr?
I see Surge's potential though. I think we're going to see them come into this new week, and I think they're going to be pretty good again.
But
it is hard. It's
argument for that.
Yeah, it's hard to separate potential versus like actual
is it just
gameplay.
Like, is that bias from what we saw from a kickoff event still? Like, they dominated at a kickoff event, but like the meta was barely set. They'd played Berlin. I mean, it was the first week of the pros playing Control. The Surge were incredible at it at the start. Now, they beat Paris in Control, but they lost the Control to Mutineers. They lost the Control to London. They lost the Control to OpTic. And so it's like, at this point, what do they have going for them? Like,
and I will
their
say
S&D's
too,
been okay.
They have a solid foundation.
They have a pretty rough Major 2.
And they have a rough rate. Yes, that's right.
Playing FaZe and OpTic in the first 2 weeks. Breach first.
So
they're either gonna bottom out here and they're gonna start going up, or they're gonna start going up now. That's my prediction for Surge.
Seattle, this is the conversation. It's ironic because it's like it has the vibes of we've talked about this before, of TK from World War II, where they dominate the beginning of the season right at the start, and then teams quickly figure them out, and as the meta begins to shift and figure out the game a little bit better, and then suddenly they can't win anything, and then they have to make roster changes. And ironically, that was accuracy on that team. And they dropped Chino and Theory, brought in Pharaoh and Enable, and then suddenly they're back to being a top 3 team again.
It's so just weird though. Like, I felt that was just like it was way too fast. Like, TK like had a long
they did win 2 tournaments.
Yeah. I just feel like why would Surge be so good? Really, like not just for one match, but like for through week 2.
Right.
you know,
but at
obviously
this point,
they
what we
won
learned is that the Ultra isn't like incredible.
top
Right.
5, top
And so
4.
they beat Ultra in round 11. And then
Rokkr
we've
round
also
11.
learned the Rokkr are not incredible.
No.
Beat them in round 11, game 5.
Yeah.
And they got
So it is
3-0
hard.
by- they got 3-0 by the Mutineers, and we know they're not incredible.
Mhm.
And they got smoked by OpTic, and then they lose to Legion. So I've convinced myself. I'm going Seattle here at number 11.
And it is hard too. Like
And then Paris.
I do obviously favor not favor, but like I do heavily look at like hardpoint stats too. You know, if you go to 4 games, you're playing 2 hardpoints. Like, you know what I mean?
For
Like,
sure.
And they're 2-7. Which is very. Like,
again, you wouldn't think
weird.
that after the beginning after the kickoff event, because they dominated it.
Yeah. So I don't have a problem putting them like I guess I don't agree with putting them below Legion at this point. I think they've shown more than Legion has. I can see
Does this
why,
team make a
but
roster change?
I think if like the first 2 weeks don't go well, Surge might. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they weren't worse sooner, so they could have picked up Tom Gravity. You know what I
And then
mean?
your prediction would have been right.
Because now Gravity is gone. Obviously, it depends on who you think the problem is.
Right. That's the question. Is I don't think anyone really knows exactly who the problem is. I mean, to be fair, in that what match was that? Accuracy got absolutely smoked in that one match.
Was it during the major?
It was against OpTic. He went 13-32 in the control on Tuscan.
Rough.
Oh, that's tough.
That is tough.
13-32. That is real tough.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm a little bit worried. So I have Surge at 11, Legion at 10. So who do you guys have at 10?
10. I have LAG.
I have
Very
Subliners.
Bro, I don't. How do you
wait? Rex, you have Mutineers at 11?
I have Mutineers at 11.
Explain yourself, please.
Wait, you got it. Okay, wait. Now you have to explain that one.
I feel like Mutineers are still a bit of a mystery. They're still like, I don't know who they're going to beat or who's going to beat them. That's kind of my biggest gripe with them. Is like, there's no level of like, I don't sometimes see exactly what.
Like, are you just trying to say you don't see the championship potential with them at all? So you kind of body them in the rankings?
I mean,
like, you see the championship potential with like New York. You see the championship potential.
I just think they're very much
but
beatable. I just think they're a team that sometimes ekes out a win. But I just don't know about, I guess, like maybe the strategy that they're doing, but there's something missing. There's a part of their whole gameplay.
Interesting. I mean, you know, they lost 3-2 to Breach, lost the round 11 on Bocage. Why not Seattle?
I hold LAG in somewhat high.
I mean, Florida 3-0 Seattle.
Esteem. I think Gorillas have something. I think they have some magic happening over there, to be honest. Like, I think they could potentially beat pretty much every team, minus maybe the top 3.
Right.
I think Gorillas has a chance to beat all of them. And I'm actually really impressed by that. And I like their gameplay, and I understand what is trying to be done.
It all makes sense. I just don't understand how you can put Subliners above Florida, though. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Because I see the potential.
I mean, the Mutineers have beat the Legion and the Surge. They're going game 5 against the Breach, winning Bocages, winning Tuscans.
Honestly, I almost put Subliners at 11. I considered putting them at 12, but it just didn't feel right. Like, this is a better team than that. I think that's where it's kind of
But like, are we going to see that better team this week though, or next week?
This week, I don't know about this week.
We might not even see Crim this week.
Well, I think we're going to see growth. I think we're all like, as long as I'm seeing growth, I'm satisfied. And we have been seeing growth with Subliners.
You know what? I'm changing my mind. I want Surge at 10, LAG at 9.
Okay, interesting, Sam. So why would you have Florida ahead of LAG then?
My thoughts are as follows. So Mutineers, two W's have been against Legion and Surge, right? Surge, we're not too.
And I don't think either of those teams are impressive at this point.
Yeah, we're not too confident on. Obviously, they took Breach to game 4. Okay, cool. Thieves was a game 5, which was close 6-4 at the end, but that was a week 2. And then Gorillas, obviously, they beat London, but then they lose to London. So they beat London week 2, lose to London, obviously during the major, and then get 3-0'd by the Rokkr.
I mean, that was a close series though at first. I mean, Gorillas were up 2-1.
Yeah.
In the major. They had them. They won the S&D round 11. They won the Gavutu control.
Ooh, dude, I want to talk about Hook on that Gavutu control, man.
Oh, man, yeah.
He did so much for his team, and then they didn't, and they were able to capitalize, which is unfortunate. But
oh, man, yeah. And Slasher had a tough event. That was one of Slasher's worst events in a while.
Yeah, I don't know, but I have a newfound appreciation for Hook, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, ASUN played great against London in that first series too early. Like, there's just so much potential there. It's just like, man, you can see it with this team. I think this team, they better not break up.
They shouldn't. Like, they are getting better, and like obviously they're stronger. Like, I don't know. I think LEG is always going to be a tough team to play.
Well, and they're a pretty good hardpoint team too. You know, overall.
So, honestly, I'm a bit surprised by that, but they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they haven't played very many good hardpoint teams because they've played the Breach, which were like, they beat them in both. Subliners, horrible. They lost the one to the Ultra.
Obviously, that was 239, 245.
And that was the Bokosh. That was mixing. Yeah. Then, I mean, London is the big wins, the 2 wins against London.
Yeah,
but it's a fundamental team versus a non-fundamental team. The matchups in my head make sense. But then they beat Gorilla. So I don't know. Or they beat the Rokkr. So, they're just all right. You know, like that's why they're at 8.
It's hard. Yeah. Like
I have them at 8 too.
It's hard because I think, again, I keep getting this conversation of like potential, you know, versus actual performance. I think LEG has potential to go dummy, you know, but especially with like a Slasher team too, you know, getting better as the year goes on. But hopefully they give it time. I know with like gunless teams in the past kind of have broken up mid-season.
Right. And Slasher teams.
Yeah. And Slasher teams too. So hopefully we'll see, but
a little bit more patience maybe.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I really want to talk about Florida.
Successful.
I want to talk about Florida real quick because like we didn't even mention Awakening. Big Wake went 37 and 13 and on lost. Tuscan hardpoint,
dude.
And they lost.
Yeah.
How does this keep happening? They were plus 17 in kills and they lost. Like this
because they don't play the map.
They don't play together.
They don't know.
And that was the problem. I went back and watched it on stream, and like at one point it was like they decided to have 3 of them in church on the well, the P2 hill on Tuscan. Like 3 of them were in church for a hot second, while only 1 was in the hill. Like, what is happening here?
They have. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just seems like that has just been the story of them.
I
just don't see improvements from that. Like, they just do that.
So
and
that's the question.
They have players that just go off and they can pull out wins that way.
Can Skies and Big Wake ever work? I mean, we keep seeing these same problems. Like, is it really going to get fixed over time? I'm just very, very unconfident. I want to love this team because like they're just lovable with how nasty they are gun skill wise, but man,
it's insane. If they just had someone to wrangle them in,
just a Crim 6, you know.
There's just a certain like mindset thing. It's just like not. I don't know,
bro. But
they just don't play the map.
Side note,
play it weird.
This is like no like shade or anything, but man, I did not realize how like just like short Dave was. Like there was this
Wait, how short is he? Was he shorter than Skies?
Not short. Maybe just like he was sitting next to Big Wake, and it just.
I mean, when you're next to Big Wake,
just like
it's like Methods versus next to Capsidal. It's like the dude Method looks puny next to Capsidal. Like
no, it's like
Capsidal's a literal giant. What a unit! Get this guy in the league.
Yeah,
like I mean,
Method tries to do like a pasta eating joke, and there's Capsidal like
this dude could be an NFL lineman. Yeah.
It's like how you make him this guy who eats. There's Capsidal right there.
It's insane.
But so do you think though, like if they brought in Yeez,
I don't think it fixes much.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I think it just adds more of a fundamental problem here. Power, but it is a fundamental problem that they have.
Do you think Skies and Awakening need to break up?
I think they're they're a nasty duo, but at this point, I just don't know where the upside is. Like,
I mean, if I'm being honest, I mean, if they had a different coach, maybe.
Like if they had Rambo.
I know we're going into sensitive territory. How valuable are coaches? But I think coaches are an asset to a team, like an important part of why people win. Or
it depends on the team that you have, but 100%.
I think Surge's early success was due to their coach. I think Mutineers could go for some sort of coaching change.
Interesting. That is a hot take. We just don't know. Maybe the players just don't listen. Like you just don't really know, though. You know.
True. I don't know, but I think there's something to be said about that.
That's interesting. I mean,
when it comes to mini maps, fun issues like that,
that just don't get fixed over 2 years.
That's part of the coach's territory.
I mean, they did have a change this offseason.
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. That is something to keep our eye on. I think a roster change is definitely imminent with Florida at some point. Yeah. It's going to be a literal like. Who knows who's going to get benched though? You know, like is it Dave? Is it Vivid? Is there a trade with Awakening and Skies in the mix?
Vivid needs to drop the sniper on S&D, bro.
Well, yeah, Florida has this sniper thing. They love snipers. Like Dave was sniping, then Vivid was sniping.
The amount of times Vivid was caught with the snipe,
and this is the problem.
1v3. Oh.
So actually, ironic timing. It's literally showing on the highlights right now where he popped that little 2-piece with the sniper. Yeah. But then like they get this thing like, oh, it worked once. Let's keep doing it. And they never put it away. Ever. No.
Well, they just
and that's what happened with Dave Patty on Tuscan.
They just rely on flash plays to win things.
But like again, like when you're soloing the snipe out, like especially on a Desert Siege, like it's way too easy to like basically the opposing side's snake almost, right? Like, and like keep them busy, and they don't do anything. And then
unless you're selling them, you got them.
Unless you're selling them, that's true.
Yeah,
but
you snake, then you got them.
But like literally, like the last 3 or 4 rounds was Vivid in a 1v3 with a snipe, and like if it doesn't work like 2 rounds in a row, or at most 3, like just drop the snipe, man.
Yeah,
like,
and that's what we keep saying.
Point,
you can pull it out, 2-3 rounds. Have some fun with it.
Yeah,
throw some different looks at them. But like, even too, I think main snipes just don't work. Although Zero was trying his best.
Yeah, like even too, like with like when you have the snipe, like you're like it's still like a 1v1 out in the sand. That then it's still like a 3v3. So like you're really not. There's not much advantage there, like unless you can get the pick within the first 10 seconds. I don't know.
Right. I mean, again, it's just based on like how confident is your player that they're going to win. I mean, that's why Celium's just ultra confident. He is good with the automaton.
Oh, for sure. I'm just
and he can lock down that side. I get the appeal of locking down a side of the map.
Yeah. Like, and like full disclosure, like I'm still like I'm having a hard time like dissecting and like actually like analyzing S&D in this game. It's just kind of weird.
Especially like Desert Siege.
It's just like, I don't like.
Yeah, it's about playing for map control and information and just rotating bomb sites. Like it's really interesting, like in that sense.
Yeah, there's sometimes where it literally just seems like a team deathmatch, honestly. But but I don't know.
No, I think it's fair. Like, so I guess we can wrap back to Florida here in the future as well. But okay, so at number 7, where are you guys thinking here at number 7?
I've got Rokkr.
I have Rokkr as well.
That makes sense. I guess the debate would be like what, Boston,
Breach,
or Rokkr, probably as these next 2.
Wow, you guys have Breach higher than Rokkr?
Oh you have Breach at 9?
Yes,
I missed that.
Oh yeah, no, I completely missed that. Talk to us about that.
I just don't think they're that. I think they're maybe a bit overhyped. Like I don't see a lot of strength from them. I see, they're like on the verge, like it's right there. I'm sure they can almost taste it, but they honestly are just kind of like a knockoff Surge.
I mean, the Breach.
I feel like they've deserved a little bit more than that. I mean,
they beat LAG map in their first series, and they beat Legion in their second. They lost 3-1 to FaZe. They lost 3-2 to Subliners. They lost 3-1 to OpTic. So they took a hard point Gavutu off OpTic. Then they lost 3 out of FaZe, beat Mute, and then at the major, or they lost 3 out of FaZe at the major. Then at the major, beat Mutineers 3-2, beat Legion 3-1 and then lost to Ultra game 5, taking both hard points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
I don't know, man. I feel like that doesn't make sense to have them at 9 then. But
I mean, I think the Rokkr better than, like, I don't know. I just don't. I
mean, the Rokkr have only beat LAG though.
Yeah, but you can. I don't know.
They beat OpTic in the first map of the home series. I mean, that would be your debate.
Week
They
1.
beat OpTic in the first week.
Game 11 or game 11.
But
round 11.
yeah, round 11. Yeah, but since then they've only beat the Gorillas. So we don't have I don't feel like we have a great sample size there because they've played OpTic, Surge, Ravens, FaZe, then Gorillas twice, and then the Thieves. So it's like, it's been a pretty tough map set overall here. They played some tough competition. So I could see the argument that Rokkr is better than the Breach and that the opinion on the Rokkr is a little bit too low right now because they played some really good teams. That would be an interesting argument. I can actually see that now that I'm thinking about it.
I don't know. I just don't see not a lot of strength there in my mind.
I don't know, Sam, what are your thoughts?
For me, Rokkr, I just feel like they're like kind of stuck, right? I'm not like with this roster. We've seen this iteration of this roster now for a year, and then also the
half of Cold War.
Yeah, so
right,
somewhat.
How confident are you in this roster right now? Like
to be decent, very good. Like I'm very confident that they'll be pretty good.
Yeah, they're but like what's the what's the insane upside? Whereas with Breach, and again this goes back to the
but my goodness with the Breach, bro. Like could two players be more consistent than Capsule and Nero? Like the valleys and peaks for Capsule and Nero is insane. Like
it is crazy.
They go from like getting absolutely dogged and getting smoked to having like literally the best highlights of the whole weekend. Yeah. Like where's this balance at?
That's what I'm saying. If teams are winning in that way, it's not a recipe for
especially with this game too. So like, I don't know how you guys feel about or what your thoughts on this, but like, it seems like with this game that players are pretty much bound to, either have within the same week or the same weekend, whatever it is, like it's hard for like one player on the team to be the best, like
all throughout all the matches. We haven't seen it yet. I mean, Dash would be your best bet so far, like where he played pretty consistent, but he used the man AR and so things were working well.
Like you'll see Simp go off the map, and the next map he'll get, like not good.
Right. Or speaking of the Rokkr, like Attach was dominating. Then he went like almost triple negative or something in a match.
It's just so weird, like because I feel like in the past Call of Duty, like it's been like one person, man, this guy's gonna go off
in an event or a weekend. Yeah.
So then with Breach, it's like take that to like times 10 with Capsule and Nero. It's like not only is it just like the way the game is, but man, is it like you said, mountaintops and valleys. Like why is it so
in that same series against insane. Florida, Nero went 21-41 on Bocage. So that's rough, he started 12-14 and then he ended the map 21-41.
Yeah.
Damn.
So like that is tough. That second half of the map was real tough. But then in the same series on Tuscan, he goes off and just dominates on that Tuscan hardpoint and starts off 7-0 and tears him up, and like you're just like, what is like this is so crazy. And like kind of speaking on that Florida series, like that 1v3 from Tej on Berlin kind of changed the whole series. Like,
yeah.
No, that was against Paris. But like that one kind of changed the whole series because they lost the first hard point. And you're like, uh-oh, like this could be a problem. And then Tej has a 1v3 on Berlin.
Yeah.
And against Gravity. And you're like, oh, wow. Okay, this changes everything. Suddenly they're playing great. So I don't know, man. Does it feel like they need a roster change to get to the next level? Probably. I would imagine at some point Tej needs to get the boot, and you need to bring in a guy who has a higher like upside as a Slayer. But who knows? At least we've kind of seen the rookie 3 rookie plus 1 veteran meta work. We talked about that a lot in the past, but I could see that being an option.
Yeah. So like, I guess when all things said, I guess I don't mind having Breach or Rokkr above Breach.
I'm going Rokkr. Yeah, I'm gonna go Breach at 7, Rokkr at 6.
Just for funsies, I'm gonna do the opposite because I had Rokkr originally at 7.
So fun, so unique.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, again, with the Rokkr, I just don't know. Priest has always been a question mark for me, which is weird. Man,
Rex, you were high on the Surge.
I am high on the Surge.
Wow.
I think it's still there. I still think they got the pizzazz, but go ahead.
No, yeah, Sam, what were you saying? Sorry.
No, I just Rokkr stick out.
That argument there.
Yeah,
the upside versus the consistency.
Yeah, Rokkr stick out to me like they are one switch away from being like insane. Again, like you have standing attached on that team.
Yeah. The question is it Priesta or Major Maniac?
I know. And I don't know which one. I
don't know. Probably comes down to which player you find in the amateur scene that you think fits the roster better.
And it just seems so weird. Like, and to me too, it's like, I just feel like Priesta.
But Major Maniac's such a vibe for that team.
That and then Priest is also, there's no way that he is not good. But
it seems impossible,
right? It seems impossible that Priest is not good, but for some reason he, has been putting up average stats.
He had some nice maps this event though.
Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate. I don't know, but
yeah. Okay, Rex, Surge. Why is Surge higher than Rokkr, LAG, Breach? I gotta know. I gotta know.
Again, I'm not so down on Surge yet. Like, I feel like you'd see this little snippet in time and we're just automatically throwing them down to the gutter, which I think we can see just based off their gameplay, how good they can be.
And how bad they are.
Not how bad they are. I think it's still there. I think they've had a rough, major, and then also, a rough last week in the qualifier.
Yeah, but that's like half the season.
At this point, but I don't think it's going to stay that way. I think they just had a rough little go of it here. I think they're going to start spiking up.
That's like going bowling, and it's like, yeah, I threw 8 gutter balls in a row. And you're like, I'm doing all right. There's still a lot to play. And there's only 2 more frames.
Well, there's not only 2 more frames. There's a lot more frames to go. They have if we're talking bowling, they have the right form. They're obviously can see that they know what they're doing. But it's just it's hitting gutters for some reason.
No. See, what happened is that they threw 3 strikes to start. They threw 4 strikes to start the season. Now we're in frame 10 of what is going to be a long series of many more bowling matches to come. But they've thrown 6 gutter balls in a row. And so at this point, you're like, bro, something's up with. There's a little jank in your arm, man. Something's happening in that little backswing that's causing some problems.
They can throw strikes. So they know how to throw a strike.
They haven't thrown one in a minute. That's the problem.
Bro,
it hasn't been that long.
Are we talking yet about your number 5?
We're talking about Surge.
We're talking about Surge at 6.
My number 5 is Ravens.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Wait, why Ravens behind
ahead of
Toronto?
Surge? Why Ravens behind Toronto? I think it comes down to
Ravens just
what do I think they have in their back pocket. I don't think Ravens are.
Let's put a time frame on your predictions here.
Team.
You're saying you're kind of doing a power rankings for the next maybe 2 weeks. You're kind of looking for a little bit of a rebound after the major.
I was doing power rankings just now, I was going to look at the standings.
What do you mean, dude?
Well, no, because not all teams played each other, so we don't.
What
really,
do
we can't
you
just
mean, Ravens? But I don't like. What do you not see, or what have you not seen from Ravens to not put them?
What I've seen is that Zero actually looks insane, and I did not see that coming.
He's insane, bro.
I did not see that one coming.
I've actually seen him play some 8s too.
Oh yeah.
Though to be honest, I watched him in the 8s. I wasn't super impressed. But
you are bodying Ravens, bro.
I'm not bodying Ravens.
You are bodying Ravens, putting them behind Thieves and Ultra.
Them. Here's the thing: they're all very good players, but you're just throwing a bunch of these players who there's a certain fundamentalism that they don't have yet.
What have they not shown you? What do you mean?
You just have to argue. The only argument is
their whole gameplay
is Ultra v London. The only argument is Ultra v London because obviously they beat them 3-1. So they did beat them. So then that's kind of the defense.
But do we think Ultra is going to be stuck at the spot?
They've lost to OpTic.
Ultra is still a wall to pass.
And then Gorillas is you're oddball out. They've lost 3. They lost 3 games and 2 of them is OpTic and FaZe. What have they not shown you?
LAG is the one that doesn't make sense. But
I just need to see more of them before I'm ready to commit to a higher ranking.
I'm not convinced that London's an insane team.
I'm
that's gonna last for the whole year.
What do you mean, bro?
But like with Zero playing how they're playing right now, I think in a power rankings, they're set to be good at least for the next few weeks. And Gizmo, I don't know if you saw Gizmo's tweet, but like he did tweet that he's been going through a lot of things lately. And he
still played okay. Like,
and he played all right. He had some bad maps, but like overall, he also has some really good moments too. Like, yeah, he had some really bad moments, but like at the same time, like the Gavutu control versus Toronto, he had like the streaks, and he was out there heat checking on Berlin S&D, and like so he had some nice moments still, even though he's had a lot on his plate. So, you could see a world where Gizmo even gets a lot better from here on out.
Ravens have shown me nothing but top 3.
So, I think Ravens are going to get figured out.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like you're power ranking on a little bit more of a future predictions type of situation, where if we're playing a tournament, you're kind of power ranking heading into stage 2, like your predictions for stage 2 almost.
I'm looking into the future a little more. Yes.
Yeah, you're definitely looking into the future a little bit more than me and Sam are.
Otherwise, I would just look at the standings.
Well, again, not totally, because there is the argument still because the teams haven't played each other.
You're crazy, bro.
Like, yes, there is a lack of fundamentals at times where we see them in hardpoint. Like, let's say against FaZe, where they got smoked on Tuscan. And that was kind of a situation where like Gizmo and Afro are out there trying to take routes to get spawns on their own, but they're just not winning any of these gunfights. They're losing them all. And it's like, because they're taking these risky routes, and like, maybe you could argue depending on how your approach to hardpoint, but like they're taking these risky routes, they're getting picked, and it's really costing them. And that was kind of the difference in that map, where like, or like they make those small mistakes, like on the Gavutu against FaZe, like Afro's got that blessed spawn at the back of P4, and he didn't take advantage of it and made the wrong play, and kind of got like his feet kind of got frozen there for a second. So like there are those moments where they definitely do make those mistakes in their youth shows, but I mean, at this point, the evidence is still that they're a top 3 team. In my head, the top 5 is pretty.
And the fact that like they're like showing that, but like against FaZe and OpTic,
it's still pretty good.
No, that's way too low.
Not too low.
Sam, do you have any other arguments there?
I don't. Again, like when you're talking about, even if you're like looking in the future, which I think it's kind of a combination of both. Like you have this young team who again has gone up against OpTic, who's already like a veteran squad, FaZe veteran squad, Ultra veteran squad, and like they've proven their worth. Yeah, they lost to both OpTic and FaZe, but they beat Ultra.
But Ultra hasn't been looking the same.
I know, but
for a second there.
But you have Ultra, like you have Ultra above them, like so like they should be worse.
But Ultra's gonna get better. Like you can see
Ravens are gonna get better.
Ultra has the foundation there that's super solid.
I just don't like.
They're gonna tweak a few things, and they're gonna be able to crush people again.
Okay. I mean, yeah, like I could see like the argument of being like Ultra was that good without like winning a hard point, like the whole stage or whatever, So
right.
Like,
that would be
like that, that is a solid argument.
And if by next week, if they have it figured out within a week or two, and after all this film they just saw, if the best teams play it, then you trust that Ultra is going to bounce back from the film and the things that they've learned from these great teams who played hardpoint, because they're a fundamental team who knows how to learn and get better, that they're going to improve more quickly than Ravens will over the next stage. Therefore, Ultra is higher. That's the argument
quicker
for that. So I get what you're saying, but I think right now for power ranking, I still got to go with Ravens above Ultra. The question is what do you do with LA Thieves though?
Number 3.
But again, Thieves did lose to Ultra in round 1. So like that's the question, is you have to justify the fact that Thieves lost to Ultra in a 2-3-5 loss. So it's like
Thieves I have at 5. I have Ultra above Thieves for the argument of the hardpoint argument, right? Like if they were that scary without like with being pretty with being the absolute dog crap at hardpoint, that's actually like very frightening. For other teams, like if they were winning hard points, that would be very scary. These I think are a phenomenal team. But
I do too. I think they're championship contender teams. I think
they're right there with Ultra though. So like 4-5, I think is a very very close, honestly. But again,
right. I mean, that's the thing about the league right now. There's a 5 teams who could absolutely win a championship if there was a tournament next weekend or a week from now. Yeah,
I would put
it's just
Thieves,
weird with
FaZe,
Thieves
and OpTic all in the same tier.
It's just weird because Thieves. Yeah, we can talk about tiers in a second. Like, Ultra played them on Gavutu. They lost. Ravens played them on Gavutu. They lost.
Subliners played them.
Subliners played them on. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. I had that wrong. Ultra played them on Gavutu. They lost. Subliners played them on Gavutu. They lost. Rokkr played them on Gavutu. They lost. And then finally, it's like, what is happening here? Why are teams playing on Gavutu? But then FaZe finally at least got him in that spawn trap on P4 and then flipped him to P5. And then that was kind of the difference in the map. So like at this point they were 4-1 on the weekend or 3-1 on the weekend on Gavutu. I just don't know if we've seen enough of a well-rounded hard point from them. Like they beat FaZe on Tuscan and they beat Rokkr on Berlin. And they beat Ultra on Berlin. Oh, my word. Oh, they played a lot of Gavutu in Berlin. Yeah, so then Ultra beat him on Bocage. And they beat him bad on Bocage. Again, Ultra absolutely smoked them. 250-109 on Bocage. So I'm going to go with LA Thieves at 5 as well. At
What's
5.
Your number 4?
And then I think me and Sam are gonna have the same top 5 here probably.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have Ultra, Ravens, and then obviously I think all of us are have OpTic and FaZe 1, 2. So OpTic at 1, FaZe at 2, and kind of go from there. So I guess we can kind of rock and roll. And so the argument there is
FaZe v OpTic though. What we thinking? I mean, I liked what I saw from OpTic.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt.
But
will they keep it up though? I mean, was their major home field advantage?
It's going to be a battle though, man.
Does it sustain like FaZe sustains? FaZe can play anywhere, and they're going to be playing relatively just as well as they have been.
I mean, OpTic have 2 X factors. I mean, if you have Illy playing like that, I mean, that's going to be
Illy, dude,
insane. And yeah, I do want to get into this.
MVP, Illy, this year. This is the year.
Just a little late.
Yeah, just a little late.
I called it Modern Warfare, and then I said Cold War, but this is the year. This is the one.
I somewhat bodied OpTic for predictions.
Yeah, Sam, you're a hater. Can we get this out of the way? And you're an absolute OpTic hater.
Yes, absolutely.
I can't believe this from you.
But I will still stand by that, simply because we had not seen that from Illy at all. Really, in a while.
It was there though, bro.
But it's there for everyone in the league, right? Like there's a possibility.
No. Illy, you could see it. You could see it in Illy's gameplay.
I mean, you can see again, with the top 5 teams, you can see it with a lot of people, potentially, right? But will Illy keep that up the rest of the league? Every single match.
Right. I mean, obviously they put in a ton of preparation. And that was what Scump was saying is this is the most preparation he's put in a long, long time. And I'm sure some of that wraps back to Rambo as well with the preparation that he was helping to provide.
Okay. Yeah. I just have a problem when now we're just using preparation. It's when they win, it's because they prepared. When they lose, it's because they didn't prepare enough. And it's like what? I don't understand. But
no, I mean, I get what you're saying. But this is a new look OpTic when it comes to
system, but maybe they haven't. They're good.
Yeah, exactly. A new system of OpTic. Obviously,
at the beginning, got a system that works consistently.
They just didn't clutch up at first. I mean, they lost those round 11s, and that was the difference between them basically being undefeated at this point. If they win that round 11 against Ravens and against Rokkr, they're undefeated. Mm-hmm. It's they are that close to having a pretty insane run. So it's and I mean, from what we saw from OpTic, there's no reason to doubt them at this point. You could argue they're in a tier of their own, but I don't think I'd do that yet.
No.
But I mean, they did beat FaZe 5-2 from the winner's bracket. They beat them 3-2. Obviously, the reverse sweep.
Let's not take that away.
But doesn't OpTic always have home field advantage? I mean,
I guess
they'll have
kind
home
of,
field.
But this was the major. This is the one they needed to win.
I get what you're saying. I mean, all tricks were pulled out for this one.
Yeah.
For the first time, maybe ever, we saw FaZe lose some composure when they were up 2-0 against OpTic.
God. Yeah.
For the first time ever.
Shotzzy,
and I think some of it, right. And some of that comes back to, they talked madness in the first 2 maps. So they kind of, they talk their crap after in that hard point. Even in the listening, we heard, that was probably unfortunate for Abeezy because he would have, players say that type of stuff all the time when they're playing. Mm-hmm. Like, unfortunate that it happened during the listening when Abeezy's talking crap to Scump, which just pissed off all the OpTic fans even more. And then it made even worse.
What did he say?
Oh, you didn't see that? In the listening on Bokaj, he got like a 4-piece and then killed Scump twice. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, you effing suck. And screamed it in the listening, and he's like something along the lines like they like this whole team effing sucks, and they were just basically screaming it during the listening.
Is that when they got reverse swept, or is that when?
Yeah, in the first series and in the quarterfinals. And so that happens. FaZe wins the S&D. They're up 2-0, and that's when he does the whole hearing taunting. So they're at this point, the crowd is in their head, and we'd never really seen FaZe like that before. Like at any of the majors last year, even stage 4, stage 5, champs, they never really were like, they rarely talked back to the crowd. I mean, like what RC's flipped off that one fan that one time. Yeah. But besides that, like not from like an overarching fan perspective. And so I think after that, they cooled it a little bit. And in the grand finals, I thought FaZe would be in a better spot, but they still lost 5-2. And I think that goes down to show OpTic's ability, even though, FaZe did have the R-City's lagging situation on Gavutu, I think was a legitimate complaint. I mean, if you see the clip of his minimap, he skipped for a long time. So that was a legitimate complaint for them. For FaZe, probably should have won that round 5. So, and then who knows what happens, I guess, because then FaZe will be up 2-0
so strange. Or 2-1. Like they were playing so they were so slow. Like the whole team, like there's like a minute left. And they're all just like sitting on and
everyone's like, what's happening? Yeah. And you're like, it's because RC's is lagging. Yeah. So that was like much more reasonable after that. Why are they taking so long to get to the point? It was crazy, which like makes sense, when you look back at it. So. Oh, yeah. So, because they had
FaZe dude, I don't think FaZe will lose to OpTic next time they play.
And they had a 14-4 life count there and lost it. And that was when RC's was lagging.
I would have been livid. Livid.
Yeah, so that's why RC's pissed at that. That's why he was so pissed after that. So it makes sense in afterthought, but man, it was crazy. So I'm not trying to say that's an excuse for OpTic, because OpTic was obviously the better team. Without a doubt. But that was legitimate. That was a legitimate problem for FaZe, and at that point, then FaZe would have been up 2-1,
and then momentum
who knows?
Is a big deal.
Yeah, so who knows? But it was close either way. So man, it was insane. It was really cool seeing OpTic win it, without a doubt. And Dashy was the man. It was very on point for Batman to come out this week because Bruce was frying. And dude, Bruce Wayne was killing on the map.
When he got the MVP chant, I don't know. They went and scanned the crowd. And I think that's his mom or something that they showed. I was like, oh, that's heartwarming. That's nice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. So
it was a cool moment.
Man, well, that's kind of, I forgot to show the power rankings. So do you want to do our tiers real quick? So, I think it's pretty straightforward. I have FaZe and OpTic in tier 1. Tier 2, I would probably have Ravens, Thieves, and Ultra. Then tier 3 is Rokkr, Breach, and LAG. Do I include Mutineers there? I'll include Mutineers there, but I don't feel good about that. And I think I'm only going to have 4 tiers right now. So then Legion, and then Legion, Surge, and Subliners are all in the same tier as well. So that's kind of how my tiers end up looking.
Yeah, I'm thinking OpTic FaZe own tier, Ravens, Ultra, Thieves, second tier. Tier 3, I'm doing Breach, Rokkr, LAG. Tier 4, I'm doing Mutineers and Surge. And then in their own tier, I'm doing Legion and Subliners.
Oh, wait, Rex, you're throwing Breach in the bottom? You're really low on the Breach.
Yeah, I am.
Man, you're low on the Breach.
I don't see a lot of consistency coming from this team. I just don't. I think they're going to start losing.
I just feel like, based off your other perspectives,
Capsule or Nero pull off some miracle.
Yeah, this is just your Tej hatred.
It is.
It's not even my Tej hatred.
That's what someone with a cheese hatred would say.
I don't even really think I have a cheese hatred anymore. I did for JCap.
In Modern Warfare.
But JCap was ass. Like, I mean, he was.
He was cheeks.
He was ass. He was bad. Like
the kids, bro.
It was bad.
Yeah,
but you know.
I think Breach absolutely deserved to be in the same tiers as like LAG or something like that. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the people have to say about the Surge. The Surge are definitely the team that is like the most difficult to rank, and obviously the team that we have the biggest opinions on by far. And then outside of that, yeah, the Ravens and the Ultra and Thieves are kind of the teams too. So with that said, we are already a little bit away from this podcast, but we have some predictions to get into now for this weekend. So we'll probably go a little bit faster than normal through the predictions since we just talked about these so much, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. So without further ado, guys, let's talk about who's going to win this weekend. Let's get right into it. Let's get it. All right, prediction time, boys and girls. This is going to be spicy, especially after our power rankings conversation.
I'm already angry, by the way.
And Rex already put one in here, and Rex Sam already got angry.
Okay, thank you. At least.
Off the rip here, we got some very fun matches. First one is New York v. London. All right. Yep. And so, Rex, kick us off.
I originally wanted to do a London 3-2.
And that's what pissed Sam off.
But I think New York's going to sneak out the S&D win.
It's very possible, yeah.
And then the question becomes control.
Do we think Crim's going to play?
I do. I think they would
I think he's not going to play.
If they were going to.
I mean, I think he's having his surgery today.
Do they put Neptune in?
I mean, I think you might have to play with Neptune for an event just because of Crim. I don't know. Maybe not. It's possible not, but
we'll see. I mean, either way, I still think the S&D could go Subliners' way. The control becomes iffy. If knowing the Subliners, will probably play Gavutu. But the London slang power, just like the sheer slang power, is going to be tough. But that's why I picked London 3-1. I think NYSL will get the S&D.
Sam.
Yeah, it's going to be 3-0. So, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you just think, obviously the hard points going to London. The question would be the S&D for sure.
You say that. You say the hard points are, but, you know, New York gets better and better every time. They almost beat Thieves. They could have beat Thieves.
I mean, the only way up is, or the only way to go is up from 0-10.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, the S&D would be the question. I'm not convinced that Crim is playing. So I think just hedge my bets. I'm going to go London 3-0 as well, just to hedge those bets. But yeah, the S&D would be the question. I mean, we saw them play really nice S&D against Boston in their week 3 matchup. And saw them play really good S&D against Thieves in that round 11 win on Tuscan in their series week 2. So, you know, from here on out, I think it's really possible that they can make some plays, but we'll see. But for now, yeah, London 3-0. All right, Seattle versus Boston. Very interesting one here, actually, especially because of our opinions on the Surge.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very difficult matchup.
It is.
I mean,
it's close.
Well, Boston's a knockoff Seattle, so Seattle's going to win.
Interesting.
You know, interesting is Breach. The only time Breach I've ever gotten 3-0'd was by a FaZe in the major. They've always kept it close, it seems like, to every team.
Yeah, they do. They do. They played FaZe in week 2 and they took a map off. They took the S&D off of them in the first time they played.
Yeah, I actually have more confidence in Boston going here. So I think I would say
this is when it hits, you know, when tires hit the road.
Yeah,
you know, this is when you really got to make the predictions count.
Yeah, S&Ds will be close too. I think Boston will take game 5, 3-2.
Yeah, game 5 feels very possible. Obviously, accuracy, it's hard to pick against accuracy in a game 5, though.
I mean, yeah, I think his ice is wearing off. Let's be honest.
He's melting a little bit.
They did lose the Legion in round 11, you know, so I'm going to go. Oh, man. It is tough. But I'm going to stick with my guns here and say Boston wins. Sam, I think we're going to be buddy systeming this as well. I'm going to go 3-2 as well right now.
Nice.
And so far, we'll see what happens. So that would be the question. I think that's a really fun match, actually. And we're going to learn a lot about Seattle and Boston in that one.
Yeah, for sure.
As where both these teams are at. So, all right. Next matchup, Florida versus LAG.
Good news here is that they're both pretty bad S&D teams.
Yeah, this is a toss-up series. I mean, again, basically every Florida match is a toss-up series, but especially against teams like LAG right now after their losses. I mean, what are we going to get from these teams?
Who knows? Either Awakening goes crazy and wins them games that they shouldn't win, or Gorillas are just going to play good fundamental COD and beat them.
I think LAG will take it 3-1. I think Florida's going to take the control.
Florida has been pretty nice in control.
They've been
actually very good in control.
I'm not confident about this at all.
No, there's no way to be. There's no way to be. I mean, LAG after losing to the Rokkr twice in a row now, losing to London, they took them to the wire though. But then they got body slammed 100-point clubbed on Berlin, just yeeted out of the arena. Like, see ya. And so it's just like every time I feel like I want to be confident in them, then they drop the ball. So, man. Wow. That's also really, really tough.
Is this right? LAG's playing back-to-back days like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the last match on Thursday or Friday, and then the first match
on Saturday.
The next day.
Yeah. Or Thursday, Friday.
Next day in a row. So, oh man, I'm really having a tough time here. This hurts my soul. Burn some time. I can't figure it out. I'm gonna go Florida 3-1. LA, they're back to back in my power rankings, and that's why I'm really struggling here. Because in a pure face-off, it could go either way, and it's a toss-up. And so maps-wise, I'm not sure what they're going to play. I like the idea that Florida's way favored in control. And so then the question is like, okay, what team is going to show up in hardpoint for LAG? And then they probably end up playing a Bocage. I'm not sure what maps they probably want to play, but probably a Bocage. And like we've seen both of them be pretty competitive on Bocage. And so then the question is like, who comes out on Tuscan? And I think Florida wins this.
Wow.
But I'm going to go 3-2. No. I'm going to go 3-2. But
dang.
I think against all teams in the league, I have more confidence with LAG. But in a pure 1v1 matchup, I'm going to go Florida 3-2, even though I have LAG higher in the power rankings, if that makes any sense at all.
No, it doesn't. But hey, we're here for it.
I appreciate that. All right, next up, LAG versus Paris.
LAG again.
Going LAG 3-2. Tempted to pick Paris, to be honest. Tempted.
Oh, I'm tempted. No pun intended. Yeah, I mean, I think LAG should win this. I'd go LAG 3-1.
Hey, same.
Oh, Sam, you're looking good today.
You as well.
I mean, is there any... What's the narrative for Paris? We haven't really talked much about them at this point.
Gravity's the real deal. They end up going out. They're riding a high right now.
Doesn't it feel like One and John still need like, I think one of them still needs to go.
Maybe.
They need to experiment a little bit more. Some other rosters.
Potentially. I'm not get up on John yet.
I mean, they have an upward trajectory right now.
Oh yeah, you can't make a change now after the win that you just had. So like, I get the idea of like letting it run out for a little bit here. But if let's say you win, I don't know what, you win one match. I need to go look at their full schedule. Like if they win like one match in stage 2 or something like that, like at that point you're like, okay, I mean, what's our upside? You know? And then hopefully they'd make a change at that point. So that'd be the argument. But all right, well, next up is a big match here. London v LAT.
Yeah, this is a little scary.
This one's tough.
I'm scared because like obviously I want London to win.
Obviously.
But I think Thieves could take it.
Sam, you just were arguing. We just had a power rankings.
Oh, well, yeah, there's power rankings, and then there's just like, you're just nervous for your team, you know? Just nervous for him.
Oh, so you're still going to pick London?
Of course.
Oh, okay. You were framing it like you might not.
London 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, man, LAT is a tough team, and this is again actually a lot of matches that we actually didn't even happen in the major here. They're fun. Rex, what are your thoughts?
I'm doing LA Thieves 3-1. I think London are a bit overhyped. I think LA Thieves are more of the real deal. I think LA Thieves are kind of put them to sleep.
I just feel like I can't go to game 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely prefer LAT's S&D, that's for sure. Like Envoy, and it depends what maps they end up playing too. Like at this point, I mean, something like with how Envoy played in, what series was that? Against, I'm gonna have to pull it up here.
I mean, London will ban Kabuto.
Like, against Subliners, man, Envoy was dangerous. I was like, man, if Envoy keeps playing like this, like on the Gavutus, like that's the thing. But again, yeah, Thieves.
I'm sure
London's
Thieves
not
will
gonna play
ban Tuscan.
Really?
I mean, Ravens are 4-0.
Maybe. To be fair, that's been a map that Thieves have liked a lot.
Really? Yeah, I saw they're 3-2 on it. Maybe they just banned Bow Cage.
Thieves is 4-0 on Tuscan.
Yeah, that.
Again, it depends if like.
I thought you were saying London was. Oh yeah.
Wait, what did I say?
You're saying London's gonna veto
Tuscan.
Tuscan. Oh, I thought you said choose. I think you said choose.
Sorry, veto Tuscan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that makes more sense. And then Thieves is gonna veto Bocage.
Yeah.
No, London's gonna veto Bocage, dude.
You think so?
Well, I think they're gonna end up playing Bocage. Honestly,
London's only played Bocage one time.
Yeah. I just didn't know if they would prefer to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
All right. What's your guess, Josh?
Man, so then I think the S&Ds would be the question there. And London and LAT's favored in a 1v1. Again, this is another situation where it's like performance-wise, London.
LA Thieves have the foundation. London does not.
I know, but against other teams in the league, the hard point makes so much sense for London. It's just so obvious. But the thing is then
LA Thieves is good at hard point too.
No, for sure. I agree.
I think LA Thieves have more of an understanding of it than London does. But, don't let me sway your opinion.
I know, but like, I mean, we saw London beat, LAG 3-2, Ultra 3-1, and then they lost to OpTic 3-1 and lost to FaZe 3-1. And like, against the Ultra, it just depends. Like, does London? Do you think London tries to play Gavutu? Because I would imagine they do. Because London's 3-2 on Gavutu, and they're 3-2 on Tuscan. So
Gavutu might end up coming out.
So the question is, does London ego challenge on Gavutu, or they try to play their worst map, play Bocage, where we've seen?
I think LA Thieves have the advantage in them, all of them pretty much.
Yeah, the matchups in a one-on-one here, the matchups make sense for LA Thieves, man. I gotta say, they make a lot of sense for LA Thieves, but neither team's that great S&D though. Recently, LA Thieves, at least in the majors, S&D looked better though. I would say, I mean, London obviously, like, they were competitive at points, but they got 6-0'd by OpTic. They won the round 11 against FaZe, but then I'm going to go against my power rankings again here. I'm going to go LAT 3-2.
Jeez.
I don't feel good about that at all. I'm not sure if that discredits my power rankings or not. Because the problem is that I can't have the Ultra beat Thieves, but then the Ravens beat the Ultra.
Yeah, it's a ring around the rosy.
Just got to go for it, man.
Yeah.
But the Thieves, Thieves haven't played Ravens. We don't know yet. It could end up being a ring around the rosy situation. Nah, man, I lied. I'm going London 3-1.
Oh, my word.
Wow. Well, okay.
All right. Next up, Toronto, Rokkr.
Toronto 3-1.
I've got Toronto 3-2 just because of the hardpoint situation.
It's hard to bank on the Ultra winning a game, but to be fair, it's hard to bank on the Rokkr winning one is either.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, the Rokkr are 4-8 in hardpoint, 7-3 in S&D, 2-5 in control. The Ultra are 4-10 in hardpoint, 7-5 in S&D, and 5-4 in control.
Oh, dude, Ultra are pissed. They're gonna come out, and I think they're gonna prove something against in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how quickly you can learn and figure and fix things out. But it's not like it's impossible for the Ultra to beat the Rokkr in hardpoint. I mean, the Ultra's schedule has been pretty insane the last 5 matches or so. So I could see the argument for sure. So I'm going to go Ultra 3-2 as well.
Yeah.
Edge my bets there. So next we got a FaZe versus Seattle.
Yeah, 3-0.
Sam, thoughts?
3-0. Got the number 2, potential number 1 fighting for number 1 team versus a down bad Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
3-0.
Oh, man.
Atlanta 3-1.
What map do you think Seattle takes?
I don't know. Could be any of them, to be honest.
You're just hedging your bets?
Kind of. I just don't think Surge are going to get 3-0'd like that. I don't think it's going to be like an easy 3. I think it's going to be more competitive than we're giving credit for.
I don't know, man. The Surge have been 3-0'd in 2 of their last 4 matches.
Exactly. They're pissed. They're going to come back with a vengeance.
Or they're bad.
I think because I got
3-0.
Surge they're going to get a wave going upward here soon. I think this is going to be
But is it going to happen?
Start.
Are they going to? I don't know. FaZe is a tough one to kickstart any type of momentum against. Like, won't FaZe be pissed? Like, I mean, like, who's?
But here's the thing with FaZe. Like, imagine you're FaZe. You just lost to OpTic. It's like, okay, the first team we're playing next is Seattle. It's like, they're going to win. They're going to still beat them pretty bad. But I think Seattle is also coming out to be like, hey, we can still compete with the big dogs. So they have to prove something to people. So it's going to be a collision in that way. And I think I would say your argument could be like how FaZe approaches league matches versus how Seattle might approach league matches. Because, I mean, FaZe obviously approaches league matches as these are practice. Yeah.
Like, we're working on our bad maps here. We're looking at the things we need to improve on. Seattle's looking for a win.
Yeah. And I think FaZe is still going to be pissed and they're still going to get the win. But I don't think they're going to be like, it's going to be more intense, I think, on side of Seattle. And that's going to give them that win.
Mm.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to go FaZe 3-0. So at this point, next up is Rokkr and Paris. Can Paris pull off something here? This is at least a series where Paris can win some maps for sure.
I think so.
Yeah. Do I give Paris a win?
Oh, do you now?
This would be a game for them to win.
I don't think they do, though. I think at the least Rokkr clutch up in a game 5. So I'd go Minnesota 3-2 here, though. I just think it's a little bit. I just don't know if Rokkr needs more time or if they need a roster change. One of the two. But I just don't see the Rokkr being a top 5-6 type team here, just for at least the near future. Side note, we saw a lot of Desert Siege this weekend. Like, a lot of Desert Siege this weekend. And, like, we had barely seen any Desert Siege.
That is true.
It was crazy up until this point. Like,
which
how much Desert Siege had been vetoed.
Siege.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was even thinking that, which is interesting.
Which is extremely interesting.
So we'll see. That's why I'm a little bit nervous for the Rokkr in the long term. I think their map pool is just definitely not there across. I mean, they're 0-2 on Bocage, 0-2 on Tuscan in Hardpoint. They haven't played Desert Siege S&D. So it's just like, yeah, it's just the confidence isn't there yet. But again, they have played some really good teams. OpTic, Surge, Ravens, FaZe, Gorillas, Thieves. So they could come out here and just take care of business against a worse Paris team.
Which seems like it might be the case, but they're similar control.
Maybe I'm arguing myself down to a 3-1.
Kind of a lopsided S&D, but I'm
arguing myself down to a 3-1. Rokkr 3-1 now.
I think Paris take this.
Oh, no.
Sam, I'm kind of in the same boat as you.
Oh, no.
I kind of see a shadow. Like, I kind of see the shadow win here.
Sam, are you actually going to predict it?
Paris is going to build steam, right?
Yeah,
like, I really think Paris is going to start building steam.
Was that their steam, though? Wasn't that their steam?
No, like, that's not it,
there's more steam.
There's more.
There's more steam to be had?
Yes. Like,
I think that might have been the fun that they were given.
This is what's going to happen. Paris are going to veto Berlin S&D. right?
Yeah, it's the only map they want to play that Rokkr want to play.
And then it's a toss-up when it comes to the hard points and control.
Right. I mean, who really knows at this point with Paris what they're good at with gravity. I mean, all we know is that they can beat Boston on Bocage and they can beat Surge on Desert Siege, Berlin, and Berlin. Hardpoint and S&D.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm feeling it.
So I'd imagine Rokkr continued their Desert Siege not play.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a Bocage and Tuscan S&D map set.
Yeah.
And then, hardpoint wise, I'm not sure what you do. You probably end up on like Tuscan and maybe Bocage.
I'm going with Minnesota 3-1 also. But man,
all right, Sam, I like that. I like that spicy Paris pick, but I think Rokkr are gonna. I think we've seen Rokkr play against some really good teams, and they'll be actually pretty good. Which is why I have them taking Toronto 3-2 and beating Paris here 3-1 pretty handily.
Yeah.
So all right, last few matches here: New York versus Florida.
This is the match right here.
New York has to win this if from your perspective.
Oh, 100%. New York. I think New York can pull this out. I think this is where it's going to show how frail Mutineers really is. It's going to show the fundamentals that New York can have. I'm taking New York. I think this is going to be maybe the first hardpoint win for New York right here.
Interesting. Fundamental versus not fundamental is the narrative, I guess. But
3-2, you think?
I don't think that's really the actual narrative.
I was thinking 3-2, but now I'm kind of considering
Florida wins 3-1.
I mean, Florida's a pretty bad S&D team.
I'd say Florida wins 3-1. It's just a safer pick than going like a game 5 or something along those lines. And again, like I said, I'm still not convinced Crim's going to play this weekend because of the surgery, so we'll see. But
I think the Florida 3-1 makes sense.
So I'm just hedging my bets here with Florida.
I'm doing New York 3-1.
I respect it.
Never underestimate New York.
Rex, do you want any out if Crim doesn't play? Like, do you want to edit your predictions if Crim plays? Do you want that right?
I mean, if Crim doesn't play, that's obviously just a big detriment, and it kind of throws a question mark into the whole thing.
Right.
So sure, I'm kind of seeing that Crim is going to be playing. If Neptune is subbed in, I still think maybe they could eke something out. I just think Florida is just flashy.
Yeah.
So I still think New York could win it.
Well, here's a fun one. OpTic versus LA Thieves. We didn't get it this weekend. A lot of people thought we would. We didn't get it. OpTic has yet to play LA Thieves. OpTic's been looking really good. They're playing some good hardpoint. Are they going to have a little bit of a championship hangover after their dominant performance this weekend, or are they going to keep the pedal to the metal?
I mean, that has to be the story you take.
The narrative for Thieves.
If OpTic doesn't win, I mean, like, you have to pick OpTic here. If you're not going to say like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Like, the most balanced team across the board, without a doubt.
Like what's the narrative otherwise?
I mean, not to mention, like, it's search and destroys, but Thieves hasn't been good at search and destroy either. So it's
well, it comes down to consistency. I think Thieves are a very consistent team. I think OpTic Texas is questionable still for me.
Fair.
But I think they will show some consistency. So there's that. That's why I think Texas will win.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the consistency is there, but I am worried about it.
Texas, I'm going to go 3-2 actually for OpTic here. Little game 5 ice for OpTic.
Dang.
Against Draza, really?
Close.
But we got Illy, I guess, on OpTic, so.
That's what I'm saying, man. All right, so there it is, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. There's all the predictions. So far, a little update on our scoring bracket, since we're actually keeping it on the main page now. We only counted last week's first 4 matches.
Yeah.
The first 4. By that point, now it's 56 for myself. Hey.
Of course.
And 53 for Sam, 48 for Rex. Rex to be fair, Rex was MIA for a week. So he didn't, there was some tough stuff there. But he's making the comeback. He won last week. So he's back in it, baby.
I got everything right.
Yeah, you got all of them right last week. That was pretty nice. That was clean. It was
Very
tough.
clean.
So there it is, boys and girls. Well, since we kind of do this every single week, this is the hot seat.
Hold on. I didn't get my double points.
What?
You didn't give yourself double points either.
You got your double points.
No, I got the right winner for 2 points, but I didn't get the double points for the green. Texas versus Seattle. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Wait a second. I think that might be true. Okay, well then maybe Rex has a few more points.
How many times have I been scamazed in these things?
No, I also missed myself. Okay, so let's be honest here. This was an honest mistake.
3, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you didn't give it to yourself either.
Yeah, so that's another 2. So that's 10, and then 11 for you.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, get bodied, Bash. So now Rex is at 50. So and I'm at 58. Things you love to see. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. The final conversation I want to have real quick here was just the hot seat meter after this weekend. This is kind of our weekly segment again. So where are you at? I mean, I think the arguments would still be Florida would be a team that we're looking at as potential hot seat meter.
Yeah.
Who else is on that for you?
Like for who's going to make changes or?
Yeah, guys who could be benched or teams that could be making changes. I mean,
Subliners.
Obviously all New York at this point. Who knows what's going to happen in New York?
Clay stays, Hydra stays.
And then you think it's either Royalty or Crim?
I mean, both of them could go. Maybe.
Madness.
I think Rokkr, honestly, too. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, either Priest or Major Maniac would still be there too last time.
Rokkr is such in a weird spot. They're not a bad team, but there's definitely just like some.
There's just no upward. There's no upward trajectory.
Where's the soul?
Yeah, that's fair. I
think Florida's the hottest, though. The hottest.
Seattle? LAG?
I think Seattle, in terms of like hot, it's Florida. I think Seattle are going to give it like one more go.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, if Florida starts off like, 0-2 or 0-3, at that point, I think you have to make a change.
Yeah, I think so too.
And so, but that feels really likely considering they play Breach first, then they play FaZe, then they play OpTic, then they play LAG, and then they play Thieves. So it's like, I mean, if you have to beat the Breach. If you don't beat the Breach, and you may as well make the roster change now, almost, or you let them crash and burn against FaZe. Yeah. Well, then you have to let them crash and burn against FaZe, and you play OpTic the first match of the next week. That's like, that's tough. I don't know.
Florida's playing New York and LAG this week.
Yeah. So that's nice for them. They could definitely win those.
Oh, you're talking about, okay, got it.
I was talking about Seattle.
Oh, okay. Seattle. Got it.
And then Florida could rebound for sure too. So I guess that would be the debate. So I guess at this point, the hot seat rankings, I mean, do you feel like Fellow and John now have a little bit of breathing room?
I think a little bit, because I mean, like again, like they like at least had some sort of like
they had
spark,
success.
Yeah, agreed.
If it was just like they got bottomed out, then
yeah,
it would have been next. But
I would almost say that I'm not sure if Seattle made a change though. Who would it be? That's the real question. Is it Mac or Accuracy?
I mean,
Mac.
Probably Mac, right?
Could be Mac, yeah.
For a different flex from the AM scene? Yeah, that feels pretty possible.
Yeah, I think that they want to keep Accuracy around.
It feels like that at least.
Yeah.
After his clutches and his kind of veteranship, so.
Yeah.
But then who do you think do you think Vivid or Dave Patty's seats are hotter then?
I think probably Vivid.
Yeah.
Okay, so Vivid 1. And then I would say Mac 2, then either Priesta or Major Maniac 3, 4.
Priesta. Yeah.
Or no, Royalty 3.
Well,
I would say Royalty 3, then Priesta / Major Maniac at 4, 5, and then Fellow and John.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough, boys. So last thing here is intelligent or irrelevant. So let's hit it.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Let's get it. Sam, what do you got for us?
Okay. Curiosity. Out of the following 4 teams, who would you have as the highest in terms of power rankings? So
okay, a little bit on the theme of the episode.
Rokkr, Surge, Mutineers, or Gorillas?
Interesting. This will actually be interesting. I don't know where people are going to be on the Surge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious about what their thoughts on the Surge, but then also like, I mean, like these. I think we all three of us had kind of some issues and some debates on these 4 teams. It's kind of like the weird like 8 through.
It is. It's really tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I would imagine that the people think
it's got to be the Rokkr Surge are the highest.
I think so too.
It's got to be.
But do we think the Rokkr is going to be higher than the Surge? I think so.
I kind of think they will pick that too.
Yeah.
Who's going to be? I feel like Florida would be the lowest.
Probably not Gorillas, at least. Right?
I'd imagine Florida's lower than Gorillas, right? Okay. Although Florida,
I think so.
I don't know. That'd be pretty close. All right. Well,
pick Mutineers.
Okay.
Yeah, pick one and we'll see what happens.
Okay. So with 48.4% say Rokkr.
Okay. That makes sense.
32.6% say Surge.
Nice.
12% say Mutineers, and then 6% say Gorillas.
Wow.
Yeah. People are low on Gorillas.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that dark horse aspect I think Mutineers have that maybe raise their stats a little bit.
That is really interesting. I mean, again, LAG is just the problem with LAG is that their last 4 matches are only against 2 teams. So it's like it's hard to get a good feel for who they are. You know? Well, I think we haven't seen the best. We haven't seen the worst of LAG. Or we haven't seen them play against really bad teams yet, which is I think they beat the Subliners when they played them, a really bad team.
Yeah. So just picking out a few here. Jonathan says Florida. If they had any sort of ice, they would be 10 times better. And I don't think it has as much to do with the players as people think. As an outsider looking in, I would look at a coaching change. Very interesting take. I think we had.
Look at that.
I think we had some
and John.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Arc, we have Rokkr, especially with the upside attached showed as the AR. If Priesta can move to a sub smoothly, the team could be dangerous. Plus, the team looks unreal at S&D. Stealing 1 respawn can almost guarantee them a series. Very interesting. Christopher C. Wilson says, first off, you all are the freaking goats. Thanks, Christopher C.
Oh, my God.
Keep killing the game. I've got to say the Rokkr are one change, role swap maybe, away from being Sunday contenders all year. Priesta had flashes of badassery, bad buttery this weekend, and he can always rely on attach and Standy bring in the softs.
Oh, that's fair.
Again, like that's the thing with Rokkr, man. It's just like they're so close, right?
Yeah, man. It's just crazy. So those are some pretty good replies though from the people.
Yep.
I think that makes sense. I mean, like, I guess I'd be lower on the Surge than the public are. Rex is higher on the Surge than the public are.
I'm higher on the Gorillas than the for sure.
But we're all higher on the Gorillas than the public are.
Gorillas,
yeah.
Interesting. So. Crazy. All right. Well, that's it for the pod, boys. Pretty long pod this week, but I mean, that was kind of inevitable with reaction, breakdown, and predictions. There's a lot going on in the COD sphere this week, but we appreciate you guys for hanging in there. Again, PrizePicks. Use the hashtag Bo3 Picks on Twitter. Enter into a giveaway for stage 2 for CDL merch. And right now, not a ton of people. I mean, like a decent amount, but like you have decent odds, honestly, to win some merch. So why not shoot us a hashtag Bo3 Picks with your picks from PrizePicks and use code Bo3Pod on PrizePicks to get double your deposit into the app, and they'll double your initial deposit up to $100. So it's pretty lit, and it'll be a good time. So appreciate you guys for watching. But as always, guys, I'm Josh. Selfishly to my right, this is Bachelor Bo3, and to our farthest right, per usual, was Rex ShadyNero. And guys, we will see you next time. We out.